Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of writing linear equations. This is standard A.2B in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 48, which is a new item type called hot text, off the Redesign Practice Online STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have hot text here, so we need to move the correct answer to each box. You notice that once I use an answer, I cannot use it again. Drag it out if you don't want to use it. And if you tried to answer it with just one box filled, you will get an error message. So it's a 2-point problem. Make sure we fill in both. Let's see what we're looking at here. So we have a linear function for f, and all we're going to get is f of 3 equals 0, f of 5 equals -4, so we need to create this in slope-intercept form, right? So f of x, so normally it's going to be y equals mx plus b, so I'm looking at my m and my b is what I'm missing, my slope, my y-intercept, but you notice that this f of x is serving as my dependent variable. So sometimes it's not always going to be y. All right, so that's your dependent variable right there. That f of x is serving as the y. So what this means is this y is going to equal 0, right? But what's the x? Well, remember, it's f of x. So it's x equals, they give you the x right there, -3. So that's your first point. Hardest part of this problem is just finding the points. F of x, remember, it equals y, so y equals -4 in the second point. What's my x? Well, they give it to you, f of x, so f of 5, so x equals 5. All right, so now that I've got that, I've got 2 points. I've got -3 and 0, that's my first one. And then I've got 5, and then -4. All right, so once I have those two, now it's time to kind of pull in some of my reference materials here, because we're going to notice that I'm going to need those bottom 3 forms. I'm going to need the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, point slope form, and then the slope of a line. So those are all in the reference materials. Let's start with finding the slope. So that's going to be m equals change in y over change in x. Let's just label these x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so my y2 is -4 minus my y1 is 0. That's good. And then my x2 is 5 minus my x1 is -3. All right, so that's going to be -4, 5 plus 3, because 2 negatives make it positive, equals -4, 8. So really that's going to be -1/2. Looks like they're all decimals, so that's going to be -0.5. So there's my m. I've got that right there. Let's go ahead and slide that in for my first point. Now I just need that y-intercept. How I get my y-intercept, remember, is going to be that point slope form. So point slope, that is the y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. I can use any xy. Let's just use that one because it's got a 0 in there. So my y minus, and then my y coordinate is 0, so that's easy. My slope is negative, I'll just do -1/2 because I find fractions easier to multiply. X minus, and then my x coordinate is -3. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Y equals, look, it's already in my slope-intercept form. I just need to distribute this out. -1/2 x, got that. It's going to be, so that's going to be x plus 3, but now I've got to do the times -1/2, so it's going to end up being a positive times a negative, so -3/2, which they, once again, don't really like that, so it's going to end up being -1.5, and so that is my second answer, is going to be this -1.5.